So I finally got around to beating God of War Valhalla, and I will say this. This is pretty cool for something free. I can't believe they gave this away for free. I was telling Garrett about it at work the other day. I feel like this is worth at least $5 or something. Like, I gladly would have been happy to pay $5, $10, something, because there's a lot of game here. It's a little conflicting because the new God of War series is focused so much on story. So a lot of the fans of new God of War are going to want a lot of story from this, and there's some there, but it's not like that meaty. Like, you go into it and you get little bits and bobs of story, and a little bit here, a little bit there, and they kind of tease this ending the whole time you're playing the game. It's all about what's behind these gates of Valhalla. So as you're playing, you're trying to get through Valhalla and trying to get past here and see what's at the end and see what's in the gate. But they keep teasing you with it. Every time you get to the end, you loop back to the beginning because you're not quite ready yet. You need to work through your emotions more. And Kratos is a guy that thinks with fighting, and he needs to fight it out, and he needs to get to the bottom of it so he can feel happy and get through the gates at the end of Valhalla. I thought it was pretty cool because God of War has always kind of been about gameplay for me. You know, I like the new games. I wish they didn't have such an emphasis on like gearing, because to me, God of War was more about like combat and fighting and, you know, picking your little talents as you went through the talent tree. But new God of War, they add gear in and they're trying to make it more RPG-like, which is fine, but I feel like it's kind of clunky. So right off the bat, I like how this doesn't focus at all on the gearing. Like, right when you go into Valhalla, you can pick whatever type of gear appearance you want, and you can just go on and do your run. It's structured in a way so that as you're playing through the run, you can use whatever weapon you want, and you can just choose different glyphs that will power up your weapons. If you want to use the axe, you can use the axe. If you want to use the spear, you can use the spear. I recommend using the spear. Garrett turned me onto that pretty early on, and the spear is super overpowered in this. It's awesome. It's one of those things, like at the end of God of War Ragnarok, I didn't really use it that much because you unlock it so late in the game. I was used to using my axe and my Blades of Chaos, so I didn't really have a lot of time to sink into the Dropnir Spear, but it is really good in this DLC. So yeah, you basically do run after run, and every time you go through the run, it resets, you lose all your abilities. A run takes about an hour, and it's fun. It's addicting, and it keeps you going back, and you want to keep progressing and trying to beat Tyr and trying to unlock his next stage, which, speaking of Tyr, you fight him 4 times. Every time you fight him, he unlocks a new weapon, and the last time you fight him, he'll kind of switch between all the different weapons. So when you beat him that last time, that's when you unlock the ending. I wasn't too sure about this going into it, and it feels weird at first because you don't really know when the end is, and I was trying to Google it online, like, did I beat the DLC after I beat Tyr? No. You need to beat him 4 times to get the true ending. And I'm not going to say what that is, but just know you have to beat him 4 times. So after a run, you do get to pick some upgrades that are permanent. You can go and save some of your resources and spend them. So you do have a little bit of progression if you're struggling. So you can go through and farm it a little bit more and more. That's pretty much all I have to say about the gameplay. I really liked it. I like how it was more gameplay oriented and not so much gearing oriented like the main story. But it's good. I really recommend playing it, especially since it's free. If you already own this game, it's worth giving it a shot. So I want to pivot a little bit here and just talk about the story for a minute. I'm not going to spoil the ending or anything, but I did have some issues with the story. It's kind of a cop-out that through the DLC you have Helios on your belt and he's beheaded. And the only connection I can really see is that you behead both of these characters, so it's easy for them to swap Mimir for Helios, but why does it have to be him? Couldn't it be Ares? Like, does it really matter if you didn't behead Ares? Like, just have him on there talking to you, or have one of these other cool Greek characters talking to you that were more important in Kratos' story? Helios, really? We're going to focus on him? He's going to be the main ghost of Christmas past on Kratos' shoulder, talking about, like, oh, you did this to me. How brutal. I didn't deserve this, yada, yada, yada. Like, why Helios? You know, why are we focusing on the boat captain? I get what they're saying, but out of everything that Kratos has done in his past, all of the vast, monumental things he has done, and all of the main people in his story, why the boatmaster? Why do we keep reflecting on that? And I get it. Yeah, you do get like his daughter's flute later on, and he talks about that a little bit. And it's like you have these little ancillary things, but it's like most of the story early on in this DLC is focused on like little things that like don't really matter that much. And it's like I would rather hear Kratos talk about other things. I don't know. It's fine. And like I said, the ending of the DLC has a little cool moment, but I wish they would have went further with that too. It's very one-sided. Once you see the ending, you're going to know what I mean. So if you want to go Google it, and you'll kind of know what I'm talking about. But I wish they would have done more. And it was really cool because parts of the DLC you revisit Greece, but again, it's all through Valhalla, and everything in Valhalla is like in Kratos' mind, and it's like a reconstruction of his memories and stuff. So it's not really accurate. It's like you have little floating islands and stuff, and the rocks are floating, and everything's weird and crazy and wacky. But it's hard for me to say this, but if I'm going to put old God of War versus new God of War, I understand the new God of War has really good storytelling, but I like the old story. You know, I liked Kratos' journey. I liked the brutality of fighting the gods, and he's so vicious and brutal, and I get it, they're changing, they're evolving as a studio, but I want to see him just get violent. You know, that's who Kratos is. I don't know. I don't want to get into all that because the whole Norse portion of Kratos' journey is focused on why he's changing, and I get that, but I just liked the old story better. It felt better as a game. So I don't know. That's just my thoughts. Let me know what you think down in the comment section below. Do you like what they did to Kratos in the new DLC? Obviously it's a good story, but do you miss the old God of War? Do you miss the brutality? And what did you think of the DLC? Did you think it was good? Leave a comment down below. Let me know what your thoughts are. Until next time, I'll see you later. This video is brought to you by your support on Patreon. Visit patreon.com/GrouchyGus94 to help support the channel.